Let's take a look at some of the fundamental concepts of computer hardware. We'll get started with a little bit of review. From our intro lesson, we saw that computers have four basic functions. So they're going to receive input, they're going to process that input data, so it's going to transform it, perform some kind of operations or calculations on it. And then once that data has been processed, we call that output or information. So information is more useful, more understandable to the human user. And then, of course, if we're going to use that information at a later time, as most problems, right, require us to remember that data, we're going to need some kind of storage function or system to keep that data around. So we define this as well, hardware as the physical parts of a computer. So remember, they could be inside the computer or they could be outside. So the pathway from hardware to information. If you're taking this class, of course, computers might seem mysterious. I can tell you, even when I was a programmer, even when I was learning Java, Python, how to get the computer to do what I wanted it to do, when it came to the hardware, it still felt really mysterious. There's this term called black box, where you can kind of see what goes in and out of the box, in and out of the system, but you don't really understand what's going on the inside, which is why computers are great, right? They're easy for people to use. You don't have to be an expert on hardware or software to use, Instagram or Photoshop or Google Chrome, for example. Really, you just have to know how to use the keyboard, the mouse, touchscreen, right? Whatever input output device you're using. But of course, we're going to peel back some of those layers in this lesson so that computers don't seem as mysterious. I can tell you, even in preparing this lesson for the class, I learned a few new things. It definitely made the computer seem not so much as a black box, but really as um, almost like a robot, right? That you can program, that you can translate and communicate whatever you wanted to do. Um, of course, it's very, very complicated. We're going to take a look at this at a very high level. But it's not going to be as mysterious as before, hopefully, once we discuss everything from the language of computers to those main, very important hardware components that make the computer work. So, yeah, how does a computer, you know, turn electricity into data and information that's useful to us? We're going to take a look at that in this lesson. But before we continue on, you can feel free to watch this video, totally optional. So it's a YouTuber, the Paint Explainer, goes over some of the main, most important components of a computer in really, really fast time. So just 3 minutes. Highly encourage you to watch it. Not required, not going to be on the quiz. But yeah, feel free to check that out.